Whee!
What's up, guys? This is the Dueling Potato here, and I'm bringing you another deck profile from Locals. This deck is Gren Maju OTK. This deck is not nearly as good as some of the other decks that I've profiled, but I feel like it is a very underdeveloped deck because there are a bunch of ideas that you can use to make the deck better and work in a slightly different way. And we'll talk about those, but first, let's get on to the deck profile. First, for our win con of the deck, we run 3 Gren Maju OTK. His effect is his attack and defense are equal to the amount of banished monsters you control times 400. And this card, just to give you an idea how old it is, it has not had a printing since before PSCT, so its text is pretty wonky. Banished wasn't even a term then, it was removed from play. Next, we have 3 Eater of Millions. This card, if you don't know what it does, you special summon it by banishing 5 or more cards from the hand, field, and or extra deck face down. Then it gains 100 attack and defense for each banished card, and it cannot be kaiju'd or attributed, and you can't use it for an Xyz summon, a fusion summon, or a synchro summon, but that last effect doesn't really matter. And then once per turn, if it attacks a monster before the damage step, you banish the card that it attacks face down. And next, for hand traps, we run 9. We run 3 Sift Scarecrow, 3 Battle Fader, and 3 Ash Blossom. So the reason we run Swift Scarecrow and Battle Fader is we try and stall until we get to open the Gren Maju and stuff that banishes, because the deck doesn't really function without Gren Maju. The entire deck is centered around it, and that's my main problem with the deck, is that you need to draw Gren Maju to win. And I have a couple of ideas that we can use after this deck profile that I'll show you, like I talked about before. But that's all the hand traps. And then for the non-3-ofs, we have 2 Necroface, because it's at 2. This card's the best card of the deck. If this card didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to do anything. The fact that when it's banished, you banish 5 more cards from the top of your deck is just great. And the best feeling in the world is when you banish your first Necroface and you hit the other one and you get to banish 5 more for free. Banishing 10 cards instead of just 5 feels really good. And then for the rest of the deck, we have 5 Kaijus. We have 1 Ghidorah, 1 Gamma Seal, and then 3 Kumongus. These are in here because we're a blind second deck. And this is the best way to deal with monsters, is just give them a beat stick that can't activate any effects or do anything good. It breaks co-link Trigates, and especially if you break the Mermaid co-link, you have a monster there for free. And if you can get your Gren Maju up to 8,000 or more and just plop a Kaiju and make the Mermaid unco-linked, you just get to attack it and win. So that's all the monsters. I believe that's 25. I might be wrong though. No, it's 22. Next, onto the spells, we run 3 Pot of Desires. This is probably the second best card in the deck. Banish 10 for cost. That gets your Gren Maju up to 4k instantly. And then drawing 2 cards. It's pretty good too. If it just said banish 10 cards, we'd still run 3. And then for more draw spells, we run the 3 Pot. I don't like this card in the deck because we special summon with the Kaijus and the Eater of Millions, but you just need to dig for the Gren Majus, and we hope to stall. Either see a Gren Maju or another stall card to help stall a turn. I have some interesting ideas for what we could turn these into later. But continuing on, we have 3 Allure of Darkness, more draw spells, and then for all the darks we have Necroface, which is the card we want to hit the most, Battle Fader, and Eater of Millions. We have 8 Allure targets. We have 2 Necroface, 3 Battle Fader, and 3 Eater of Millions, and that's enough to where you can allure into a target or have a target in hand most times. That seems to be the good number. If you want to run more targets, you can run the Dark Kaiju, I just don't have any copies of him. So if you want to run more targets, which I'd recommend, Diver Pace, the Ghidorah, and probably one or two of the Kumongus for the Dark Kaiju. So next we have Dimension Reincarnation. This is a really good card because if you banish a Gren Maju off of Necroface, you can discard a card and then special the Gren Maju. I think that's the most consistent way of getting Gren Maju out instead of drawing it and normal summoning it is banishing it off of something and then bringing it back with this. But you have to hard draw this card. But this combo feels really good to pull off for some reason. And then we have 6 more cards. We have Gold Sark. This turbos out Necroface, and if you need to, you can. If you have these 2 cards plus a face down, you can pitch Gren Maju and then bring it back with DDR with a discarded card. So that's Gren Maju, and since we're going second, we run 1 trap card, and that is Evenly Matched. The idea is just go bait negates if you can, force them to break their board. Another good card would be Rivalry, because you rarely only have 1 monster on the field at a time, and since Eater of Millions and Gren Maju are both fiends, these are the most 2 important monsters, and everything else is whatever. So if you could, so you could change these out for Rivalry if you want, but these are just to break boards. I wish they were Twin Twisters instead a lot of times, because I played a lot of back row heavy decks, and Twin Twisters is more applicable in the mid to late game than Evenly Matched. However, you rarely set cards or have a bunch of monsters on the field, so if they deal with your board, you can just flip this at the end of the battle phase and clear their board and try and get everybody into a top decking situation, in which case you'd probably win. So that's the 40 card deck. The extra deck can just be Cherry's targets, and I no longer have the side deck built for this deck, but it was Cherry's, Mind Control, and then some more hand traps. It wasn't really that impressive. So we're going to stop real quick, and I'm going to get a couple of tech cards out for you to think about to change the deck from a more of a banish focusing on summoning Gren Maju deck to a banish utility deck, and we'll be right back. What's up, guys? I'm back. So the first main tech card that I would suggest everybody runs, and this is just for the normal Gren Maju OTK, is Forbidden Lance. In this format, at least, if you're not playing Goki, you're playing against Sky Striker Trickstars or Altergeist, and through those 3 decks, other than Goki, they have a lot of spell and trap removal for the deck. So this is run because if you have a Gren Maju that's at 4K and it loses 800 attack, but it can't be affected by spell or traps, Sky Strikers can't out that unless they have a huge Kagari. And then Altergeist can't really bounce it with Siliquidos or anything, and they'd have to make a Hextia. That would have to get really big, and I don't think they can make a Hextia that's over 32 or 31, but I might be wrong on that. And then Sky Striker Trickstars, they're all of their outs other than the Nightmare stuff is all Sky Striker based. So Sky Striker Trickstars for this card is probably the worst against, but this is really good against Pure and Altergeist. And for Goki, you don't really need to worry because they don't have any removal other than Trigate Banish. And if you're going second against their U-Link board, they're gonna have a Mermaid on there, and Mermaid is 1,000 attack. And if you Kaiju whatever's under the Mermaid and then swing Gren Maju at Mermaid, you're going to deal a whole bunch of damage. And then the next kind of tech, it's a card that would really warp the deck and turn it from more of a straight OTK banish to a more of a utility banish deck, would be Left Arm Offering. So the idea behind this deck is you would run more cards that do things when banished, such as Giant Rex and Shiranui Spirit Master. I don't have any copies on me. But if you opened one of those or Necroface in one of these, you could play your cards to do things, because you don't really have any cards you want to set. So you play the cards that you want, and then you leave 2 of the worst cards, and you activate this, and you left arm banish hopefully 1 or hopefully 2 cards that do things with banished, or at least 1. And then you would search out something like, where is it, Desires, or maybe even, depending on if you have something on board, you search Gold Sark. And so these, let's say you already have a Gren Maju on field and you've summoned it, you could Gold Sark into Necroface and Necroface banish 5 and try and keep going. Or if you have the Gren Maju with nothing on the field, you can go into Desires, and Desires get 10, so you have the 4K Gren Maju, and then you have 2 cards to do things. So this, I feel like, will add some consistency, because you can turn it into either of these 2 cards. And if you're on a couple more cards that want to be banished, you can make a deck that will be strikingly effective at emptying the hand up until 2, and then getting the worst 2 cards, banishing them, which also helps your Gren Maju, because it gives it 600 or more. So the synergy with left arm is pretty there. I just think it needs the right cards that get banished, and I think the main thing holding this idea back is the quality of the cards that you can banish. Right now, the best ones are Shiranui, Spirit Master, and Giant Rex, and those, to be frank, aren't very good cards on their own other than Spirit Master, and that's situational. However, if you're going second, that doesn't really matter. So that's my thoughts and ideas and theory on the deck of Gren Maju OTK and what you could turn it into with left arm and a couple of other cards. So if you like it, like. If you dislike, dislike. Like if you subscribe it, dislike, unsubscribe. I'm just trying to make the best quality content I can. If you have any suggestions or ideas for other videos, just let me know down in the comments below. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Whee!